John, welcome to Tuscaloosa.
Hey, thank you guys so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I don't know if you've heard this today, but John, Marlon Humphrey, 2017 first-round draft pick, former Alabama standout, arrested here in Tuscaloosa on charges of robbery, essentially alleged of taking a phone charger from an Uber car driver here in Tuscaloosa. That, along with Reuben Foster, a week and a half ago or so, he himself a first-round pick in the 2017 NFL draft. John, what would your advice be for these young guys in these type of situations?
I mean, I think for Marlon Humphrey, I don't know. The situation seems very weird to me. So I'm not, I've always heard that he had, high character marks coming out of school. So kind of a weird situation. I'm kind of waiting to hear more details about it. It seems like a very unusual thing to get arrested for when you're in his situation. Reuben Foster's had the issues. They kind of followed him. For him, it's just about, making it the last time. And he probably said that before, but, he's a guy I think he can be one of the best defensive players in the entire league, if not the best. And he has that type of a ceiling and that type of ability, I think. But, it's just about him continuing to make better decisions from this point on. And obviously the 49ers have good infrastructure, I think, around him and in place. But in the offseason, it's really hard you can't do much about those things as an organization. There's not much control you have. They're adults and they go live their lives. So, for Foster, it's just about making better decisions, and it could be about, staying in different circles and walking in different circles and, finding different people to connect with during the free time.
Great points about infrastructure and support systems and really maturity in general, because these guys still are, in a lot of cases, 21, 22, maybe 23 years old, and the lifestyle changes for many of them as dramatically as any of us could ever imagine. Now, looking ahead to this next crop, let's talk about the Alabama guys down there in Mobile real quick, John, and sort of a group that, if we're being honest, doesn't really jump off the page at you. How do you view this group in terms of 1, 2, 3, 4 with Deshaun Hand and Bradley Bozeman and Levi Wallace and J.K. Scott? How do you sort of rank that quartet that's down there right now?
Well, I saw J.K. Scott in games, and he looked really impressed with me. I don't know anything about scouting playing, I'm not going to lie to you, but in games this season, I really thought he stood out. He was really impressive, and it was pretty clutch for them in some big moments. I think Deshaun Hand is kind of a pass rusher that needs a lot of development. He didn't have much of a plan of attack in Alabama. They kind of used him as a main role. So I think for him, it's just about can he find some level of consistency, a go-to move as a pass rusher. His get-off was a little bit lackadaisical at times. I think that's just the way Alabama used him. So he's just kind of underdeveloped outside of his technique, run defense, playing your gap. There's not much creativity or flash to his game at all. So I think developing that and becoming more consistent with that, I think, is going to be something that's key for him. He's looked okay here, but really hasn't stood out in a real positive light. Bradley Bozeman had a really good first day, anchored really well against power, but he also didn't really face many great pass rushers. So I think that maybe the testing gets harder for him in the game and doing some things like that. As long as he's able to play in a phone booth, he seems okay so far. Levi Wallace, I liked his tape a good bit. I thought he did some really good things. I haven't gotten to see much of him here. I focused kind of elsewhere, but he does have some really nice length. He's so light, though, for guys as long as him, and that gives me some level of pause, I think, because a guy that size, you want him to be able to play big and play in press and match up against physical receivers, and I think he weighed in at 176, 179 pounds, something like that, at around 6 foot. So, he's a guy to me that I think you need to put some pounds on him at the next level. Doesn't have a ton of experience at Alabama. Did play pretty well in some big moments. So I think that he's not necessarily a finished product, but I like the tools that I see.
When you look at the underclassmen from this Alabama program coming out, obviously Minkah Fitzpatrick in most instances that you're seeing around right now, the top guy, but Calvin Ridley, and these other young players, Ronnie Harrison, that have made the move to come out, Daron Payne. When you look at Ridley and Payne, it seems like that's two guys that could go in either or type order when the draft rolls around. How do you sort of have those guys positioned on your board?
To me, Calvin Ridley's the best receiver in this draft that I've seen. Able to separate all levels of the field, has the speed to get deep, really good hands, he's a terrific route runner, releases are great. So I think for him, it's just about, teams not caring about his age. There's not really a lot he can do about that. And continuing to finish in contested catch spots. But he's a very good receiver. I like him a lot. I think he should be a first-round pick. Rashaan Evans is a really impressive player to me. I think consistency's still a little bit elusive for him. There's a lot of missed tackles, but he's super aggressive, physical. He's going to test really well. He's a great athlete. He can rush off the edge situationally, so he gives you a lot. Sean Dion Hamilton, if he's healthy, I think he has starting potential in the NFL as well. Trying to think through some of the other guys. Minka Fitzpatrick, it's about finding what's his defined position. Can he play inside and outside? He played outside early in his career. Last 2 years, he's been safety and big nickel and a couple reps outside. And he's set the edge for them before. And he's just done some really impressive things for Alabama over his career. He's great against the run. He's smart. He's high character. He's physically and athletically everything you want. Development, finding the ball with his back to the football, his back to the quarterback as an outside corner. That's huge for him, I think. So we've got to see how he does in that capacity. Combine drills will tell us something with him, so I'm excited about that. It's really about a team when they work him out and test him, where can he play? Is he valuable enough as an inside guy to draft him in the top 10? That's going to be the question. I think he's going to be a great player in the NFL. Don't know or care that much where he gets drafted. I just have really high hopes for his NFL career.
John Ledyard, NFL draft analyst, joining us here from FanRag Sports. Let me ask you about Daron Payne. Do you see him as being restricted by scheme? In other words, is he a 3-4 nose guard, or do you think he could play even some 3 technique, maybe in a 4-3 look?
I think he could play a little bit of both, but I don't think you're getting a great pass rusher. I think you're getting a good run defender. He's pretty consistent. He's got good technique for the most part. Plays his fits really well. He can win 1v1. So everything I've seen from him on tape suggests he's able to play an NFL rotation right away as a run defender. Where my concern exists is how explosive is he? What does he give you on third downs? And if he can't give you much there, then maybe he's more of a day 2 pick than a round 1 guy.
Let me ask you about Rashaan Evans. I know you're a Pittsburgh guy. Do you view Rashaan Evans as maybe a fit for, say, the Steelers? I was up there for the Jags-Steelers playoff game at Heinz Field. I didn't see Jack Ham or Jack Lambert out there, put it that way, John, for that Steelers defense. Do you think that could be a potential fit for Rashaan at the next level?
Yeah, absolutely. He's actually that's the team I mocked Rashaan Evans to. My most recent mock draft was a predictive one. So I think that could be a great fit if he's there. I don't know that he'll even get there if he tests like I think he can. But he's kind of similar to Shazier, right? I mean, big guys who can run and are very physical, very aggressive, miss some tackles, have some breakdowns mentally at times. But the skill set that you want, everything's there. If Evans can show himself to be as teachable and as smart as Shazier is, then I think he's got a great chance of having a really successful NFL career, too. I love what I see from Evans on tape. Like I said, some consistency issues, which is the same thing that Ryan Shazier dealt with. And with Shazier's future pretty uncertain, I think the fit makes a ton of sense.
Given where Bo Scarbrough was a year ago at this time, John, are you surprised that he's kind of in the position he is right now looking ahead to the 2018 NFL draft? Because expectation hopes for Bo, even with the injury against Clemson, were very, very high a year ago at this time. Kind of quiet now for the underclassmen going into this year's draft.
Yeah, it's a little bit hard to see what Bo Scarborough's range is right now. There's definitely ability there. He was not really that impressive this season, especially compared to last season. And you wonder how much this latest injury, he's had so many serious injuries throughout his career, high school, college, not just nagging injuries, but really serious ones, big tears and big breaks. And so you wonder how he's going to check out at the combine. He's a running back. That position's already not valued that highly. He's coming off a weak year. He has kind of an upright running style, which is probably going to leave him susceptible to a lot more shots. I think he has talent. I think he definitely has talent. I don't know that he'll go before day 3, though. I mean, unless he really kills the combine and his medicals are squeaky clean, which I don't know many people that expect that. So it's definitely hard to gauge his range right now. I think if he's able to stay healthy, some teams getting at least a good depth back. But I think that at the same time, there's things that probably he needs to continue to develop at the next level as a runner with vision and consistency that I think will be helpful as well.
And as we let you go, John, we got to ask you the big question today. I was up in Pittsburgh, as I said earlier, for that divisional playoff game between the Steelers and the Jaguars. Primanti Brothers sandwiches, in the opinion of John Ledyard, overrated or all that? Where are you at on Primanti Brothers?
No, extremely overrated in my opinion.
Yeah,
but,
me too, man.
That's what makes me unpopular in Pittsburgh circles to say that, but I never really got it too much, to be honest. I've had them a couple times before, okay, but definitely not anything that I would choose if I had my druthers.